Hey you, welcome back to another episode of What's Next with Morale. So this episode is probably one of the most honest ones that I've recorded so far, because it's also something I feel like a lot of people don't talk about. And it's been one of the seasons that I've been in quite recently in my life. And it's a season of wanting to quit. And I'm not talking about taking a break or slowing down. I'm talking about like walking away from everything completely. In particular, social media, the podcast, trying to do content creation and build this community of, truth and authenticity and freedom and transparency, especially as a young Christian woman. So I was feeling very tired, very discouraged, and honestly, I was starting to question whether any of what I was doing even mattered, if my voice even mattered. And I think the part of what made it hard was that I expected that by now things would feel a lot more clearer. And reason being is because I've done this before and I've stopped, and I came back and I did it again and I stopped, and I'm back at it again, and I thought maybe I'd feel more hopeful, more certain, more supported, but instead, a lot of the time, I felt overwhelmed. The views were low, life felt heavy, creating started to feel more difficult before I even sat down to record. And one of the things that were even louder was the comparison, because I was starting to wonder, am I forcing this? Am I not cut out for this? Is my voice even meaningful? And if I'm being very, very honest, I think I reached a point where I felt emotionally disconnected from everything. And that was the driving force in me wanting to quit. But even though I was feeling that way, and I was feeling a lot of discouragement and I was feeling very overwhelmed, there was always something that just kept pulling me back. Even in the past, when I would leave everything, when I would delete everything, and I would just go silent for a while. When I started off, and it was Heal and Grow for Purposeful Living, and when I started, I felt strong about it. I felt, good about it. And again, the overwhelming feeling came in, and I started getting discouraged for various reasons. And I would just, shut everything down and walk away from it. And there was always this thing, man, that kept pulling me back. So I'd try it again, and like the cycle would repeat itself. And this time when I came back, I thought, okay, maybe let's rebrand, let's change the name, come back with a new and a fresh perspective, and maybe things would feel different. But it was the same cycle again. But like I say, this time when I wanted to quit, I just couldn't bring myself to leave like I had done in the past, because there was still that small voice inside of me that just kept nagging at me to say, you're not done, you're not over, this is not finished, there's still ideas in you, there's still unfinished work in you, there's still lives that you need to impact, there's still a change that you need to make in the world in your own small and significant way. So here I was sitting now in between the tension of wanting to quit but not being able to fully walk away. And I think sometimes we assume that if something is meant for us, it should just always feel exciting. But I'm learning that that's not always true. Sometimes purpose feels very, very quiet, and growth is extremely slow. And sometimes meaningful things feel discouraging before they actually feel rewarding. And I can tell you that a lot of the times I felt discouragement, because like I said, the question that I kept asking myself, am I even making a difference? When you're getting no views, when you're getting 5 views, when you're getting, 2 views, and it's like, am I really, really making a difference? And I had to take a step back and say, you know what? Your video has gotten 5 views. That's 5 people that could have been impacted by your life. You're not looking to leave this huge impact. You're looking to make a difference in small ways. And small ways can start with 5 people. And if you're making a difference in 5 people's lives, that is something to feel good about, because therein lies the reward, you know. So that's where I have been, like I say, sitting in between the tension of wanting to quit but not being able to fully walk away. The real question I had to ask myself is, do I still feel pulled toward it even underneath the doubt? So even with the questions, even with the uncertainty, even with the low views, even with no interaction or no engagement, am I still feeling pulled towards this? And surprisingly enough, the answer was a resounding yes. Something inside of me leaped, in the sense that this is where I am meant to be, this is where God has me, and that something is definitely keeping me pulled in this direction. And that is the thing that has kept me in this place of just staying, being still, and waiting on God for what the next steps are. And I've been realizing lately that faith isn't always loud confidence. Sometimes faith looks like returning, trying again, showing up even in uncertainty. And that's where I've been. Not fully confident, not fully sure, but cannot shake this feeling that I'm not fully done either. You know, I don't know if anybody else is in this place where you want to quit, you want to give up, but you can't walk away. I've been there. I'm still standing. I'm still in it. And I'm just allowing myself to be used by God in whatever capacity He wants to use me. Because this time, quitting is not an option for me right now. So maybe you've been feeling like this too, in some area of your life where you want to stop something, where you're feeling tired, where, you're feeling overwhelmed, or you're questioning yourself, questioning your work, questioning your efforts, but you're still sensing that there's something that is unfinished there. And maybe you don't need all the answers right now. All you need is permission to pause without disappearing, to be honest without giving up, and to continue imperfectly, because not every season of consistency feels strong. And I know this. You can be consistent on a daily basis, but there's days where, even though you're consistent in everything that you're doing, and all your I's are dotted and all your T's are crossed, and you've planned, and everything is down, to the T, there's days where you don't feel like it. There's days where it doesn't feel worth it. There's days where you don't feel strong, because some seasons just feel quiet. And in those quiet seasons, whilst quitting might feel like an option, don't let it be your option. Just pause. So no, I don't think I have it figured out. But one thing I am learning is that sometimes the fact that you keep coming back to something matters, even when you don't fully understand why. And maybe what's next for me isn't certainty. Maybe it's simply continuing, but more honestly this time. And I think that's what the season of my life, and that's what this podcast is about. It's not having everything perfectly figured out. It's being honest as we go along, on this journey of in between, on this journey of what's next. It's not being perfect. It's coming raw, authentically, as honest as we possibly can, and say, Lord, here I am. This is where I am right now. This is how I feel right now. This is what I can offer right now. Use me right now where I am, in the capacity that you are able to use me. So that's been my journey recently, where I wanted to quit but couldn't fully quite walk away. So I'm here in between, and I'm figuring out what's next as best as I can. So I hope this encouraged somebody not to give up. Just pause, take your time, breathe in, be still, listen for the voice of God to direct your next steps. Thank you for tuning in to What's Next with Morale. Until next time, take care.